The announcement came this week, quietly, without fanfare. The PGA Tour confirmed that two of its most beloved events are gone. The Sentry Tournament of Champions at Kapalua, the Sony Open at Waialae, the entire Hawaiian swing, erased from the schedule. For decades, golf fans have started their year the same way. Wake up in January, shivering in the winter cold, turn on the television, and escape to paradise. Humpback whales breaching off the coast of Maui. The plantation course at Kapalua, with its sweeping ocean views and unpredictable trade winds. Waialae Country Club, a classic Seth Rayner design where strategy mattered more than power. No more. The PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap has a new vision. Bigger markets, bigger events, scarcity over tradition. And the fans, they are furious. This is Golfio. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The PGA Tour has officially eliminated its long-running Hawaiian swing, confirming this week that neither the Sentry Tournament of Champions nor the Sony Open in Hawaii will be part of the schedule moving forward. The decision, while long speculated, has sent shockwaves through the golf world. For decades, these two events served as the traditional start to the PGA Tour season. The Sentry Tournament of Champions, held at the plantation course at Kapalua, on the island of Maui, was a winners-only event that kicked off the calendar year. The Sony Open, played at Waialae Country Club in Honolulu the following week, gave fans a second straight week of golf in paradise. No longer. The move is part of new PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap's broader vision to overhaul the tour's competitive model. Rolap has been preaching scarcity since he took over last year. He wants fewer events that mean more. He wants to condense the schedule and make every tournament feel like an event. And he wants to prioritize bigger markets over remote locations. The PGA Tour is not consistently in New York, Chicago, Boston, Washington, San Francisco, and Philadelphia, Rolap said during a March press conference. The Hawaiian Islands are none of those places, so the Hawaiian swing became a casualty. The decision has been met with immediate and intense backlash. Golf Channel's Ryan Lavner, speaking on the Golf Channel podcast, called the move disappointing and warned that it makes the product worse. He argued that the tour should be leaning into iconic golf courses. To me, that's the plantation course at Kapalua, Lavner said. And I think on a smaller scale, it's Waialae as well. Old school, Seth Rayner gem, lot of doglegs, powers. Not necessarily a huge indicator of potential success there. It's sort of a throwback in a lot of senses. In not having those two golf courses on the PGA Tour rotation, I think it just makes it worse overall as a product. Lavner said he understands the business decision. The costs of operating in Hawaii are exorbitant. The resources, the manpower, the expenses are significant. And in a new for-profit world, those things have to be examined. But from a pure golf perspective, he said, the loss is devastating. It's going to be disappointing to not see 400-yard drives, he said. It's going to be disappointing to not see the modern players with the modern equipment can't really shape the ball all that well, having to work it on some of Waialae's tight corners. To understand why fans are so furious, you have to understand what made these two events special. And no one has captured that better than the golf writers who have covered them for years. Sean Fairholm, writing for My Golf Spy, put it simply, I am very sad these Hawaiian events are going away. His explanation of why is worth quoting at length. There was something therapeutic and grounding about watching the Sentry Tournament of Champions at Kapalua, he wrote. While many of us were stuck in frigid winter temperatures, the allure of watching golfers in paradise was strong for those golf-obsessed sickos among us. He acknowledged that Kapalua was not a difficult test for the pros. The winner shoots something ridiculous, like 30 under par, but that was never the point. Was Kapalua interesting for the pros? Absolutely. Beyond the gorgeous and calming images of humpback whales splashing off the Maui coast, Kapalua offered uneven lies, interesting shots, and fun elements brought on by the ever-present winds. It had an identity which is more than you can say for some other tour events that are still in existence. It was easily a top 10 golf watch on the year for me each season. As for the Sony Open, Fairholm lamented the loss of Waialae Country Club, a classic Seth Rayner design that frustrated and challenged players in unique ways. The defense of the course is interesting angles and tricky green complexes, much better than thick rough, he wrote. Waialae always felt old school and timeless, like a tournament stuck in 1995. I mean that in the best way possible. For fans on the East Coast, there was an additional benefit. Watching late into the night, dark and dreary winter evenings lit up by sunny views from Hawaii. Dark and dreary winter nights were lit up by sunny views on our TV screens, Fairholm wrote. That experience is now gone. The PGA Tour is moving toward a season that starts later, likely at Torrey Pines or the WM Phoenix Open. Those are Fine events, but they are not Hawaii, and that is why the fans are furious. They are not just losing tournaments, they are losing a tradition, a ritual, a way of escaping winter, even if just for a few hours on a Sunday afternoon. The elimination of the Hawaiian swing is not an isolated decision. It is part of a much larger overhaul of the PGA Tour schedule that CEO Brian Rolapp has been architecting since he took over last year. In a March press conference at Tour headquarters, Rolapp outlined 6 themes for the future of the Tour. A season from late January to September. 120-man fields with 36-hole cuts. A big opener. On the West Coast at a famous golf course. Finding bigger media markets, meritocracy, and a more dramatic finish to the season. None of those themes include Hawaii. Rolapp has been clear about his priorities. He wants the PGA Tour to be in bigger markets. The PGA Tour is not consistently in New York, Chicago, Boston, Washington, San Francisco, and Philadelphia, he said. Those are the places he wants to be. Not Maui, not Honolulu. He also wants to double the number of signature events from 8 to as many as 16. Those events will have $20 million purses in fields of 120 players. They will be the centerpiece of the Tour's calendar. The remaining events will be a second tier, a kind of minor league system where players can earn their way up to the big leagues. The Hawaiian swing simply did not fit into this vision. The Sentry and Sony were not signature events. They were not in big markets. They did not generate the ratings or the buzz that Rolapp is looking for, so they were cut. The Tour's announcement this week confirmed the inevitable, but that does not make it any less painful for the fans who loved those events. As one commentator put it, some tournaments have to be cut or reimagined. The Hawaii events got clipped. Having said that, I will deeply miss these tournaments. The question now is what comes next. The Tour has not yet announced what event will kick off the 2027 season. The WM Phoenix Open seems an obvious contender, given the atmosphere at TPC Scottsdale and the fact that it comes right at the end of the NFL season, which helps with television viewing figures. Torrey Pines, which already hosts the Farmers Insurance Open, is another possibility. But neither of those events is Hawaii. And for the fans who have spent decades starting their golf season with the sights and sounds of Maui and Honolulu, no replacement will ever be quite the same. The fan reaction to the news has been swift and emotional. Social media has been flooded with memories of past tournaments, favorite moments, and tributes to the two events. Golf writers have weighed in with their own reflections, and the consensus is clear. This is a loss. Ryan Lavner's comments on the Golf Channel podcast have been widely shared. He called the decision a disappointment and argued that the Tour should be leaning into iconic golf courses rather than abandoning them. Do I understand it from a business perspective? Absolutely, Lavner said. As you pointed out, the resources, the manpower, the expenses are exorbitant. And now in a new for-profit world, that has to come under the microscope. But just from a golf course product standpoint, it's going to be disappointing to not see 400-yard drives. It's going to be disappointing to not see the modern players with the modern equipment can't really shape the ball all that well, having to work it on some of Waialae's tight corners. Other commentators have pointed out the irony. The PGA Tour spent years fighting LIV golf, arguing that tradition and history mattered. And now, as soon as the threat of LIV has receded, the Tour is abandoning its own traditions. The Hawaiian swing was one of the most distinctive stretches on the calendar. It was not like every other event. It was different, and now it is gone. There is also a practical angle to the fans' fury. The loss of the Hawaiian swing means the loss of 2 tournaments that gave opportunities to players outside the elite ranks. The Sentry was winners only, so that was always a small field. But the Sony Open was a full-field event where lesser-known players could make a name for themselves. Waialae's tight fairways and tricky greens rewarded precision over power, leveling the playing field between the superstars and the journeymen. That opportunity is now gone. The Tour's new model, with its emphasis on signature events and big markets, is designed to benefit the top players. The rich get richer. The events that gave everyone else a chance get cut. For fans who love the underdog stories, the Cinderella runs, the unexpected winners, this is a bitter pill to swallow. The Hawaiian swing was never about the superstars. It was about the setting, the escape, the joy of watching golf in paradise when everything outside your window was gray and frozen. And that is why the fans are furious. Not because they do not understand the business case, but because they are losing something that cannot be replaced by another signature event at another generic course in another big city. So what happens now? The PGA Tour moves forward with its new vision. The 2027 season will look dramatically different from the seasons that came before. No Hawaiian swing, no Kapalua, no Waialae. Instead, a new season opener, likely at Torrey Pines or the WM Phoenix. Open. More signature events, bigger fields, bigger markets. The fans who are furious will have to decide whether to accept the changes or continue to fight them. Some will simply stop watching the early part of the season. Others will grumble, but tune in anyway because golf is golf. A few will abandon the tour entirely, turning to other leagues or other sports. The tour is betting that the fans will come around, that the new model, with its emphasis on quality over quantity, will ultimately win them over, that the excitement of seeing the best players compete against each other more often will outweigh the loss of a beloved tradition. It is a risky bet. The Hawaiian swing was not just a couple of tournaments. It was a ritual, a way of marking the passage of time. The new year arrives, the calendar turns, and the first thing you do is turn on the golf. The whales are breaching off the coast of Maui. The wind is blowing at Kapalua, and for a few hours, you are not stuck in the winter. You are in paradise. That feeling cannot be replicated at Torrey Pines. It cannot be replicated at TPC Scottsdale. It cannot be replicated anywhere else, because it was not about the competition. It was about the escape. My final take is this. The PGA Tour's decision to eliminate the Hawaiian swing is understandable from a business perspective. The costs are high. The ratings are not what they once were. The new CEO has a vision, and he is executing it. But understanding a decision is not the same as agreeing with it. And the fans who are furious have every right to be. They are losing something that mattered to them, something that was part of their lives for decades, something that cannot be replaced. The tour may have made the smart business decision, but they have also made the sad one. And for the fans who love the Hawaiian swing, sad is exactly how they feel. This is Golfio. If you made it to the end of this video, you care about the real stories behind the game. Subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the moments that matter, and leave a comment below. Will you miss the Hawaiian swing, or is the tour right to move on? I will see you in the next video. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell.